Okay, the first thing we want to do when we're talking about optimizing our operating system is, yes, we do have it installed. We have VMware Fusion installed, and we have our operating system installed. So how do we get to it after we installed it? So first we get to our hypervisor or our virtualizer. In this case, for Mac, I have UTM and VMware Fusion. And I could also have VirtualBox if I wanted, but UTM and VMware Fusion are much better than VirtualBox. Now, if this was Microsoft Windows, you would pretty much only have VMware and VirtualBox. But we're going to log into VMware Fusion, and here are our two operating systems. Now, because I have more than one, you get this handy dandy landing page right here, and we're going to make sure that we click on the right one, the correct one. This is the latest. I'm going to click on it, and that pretty much starts it up. And we want to make sure that we select the very top, so I just press enter on my keyboard. We wait for it to boot up, and I'm going to maximize it. Click on my username. I'm going to put in my password, and this brings us to our desktop. And I'm going to click on the X button as soon as I can. Now we go to our terminal, because pretty much that's where we will live in a Linux distribution, in the terminal. I'm going to click on activities and go to type search and type terminal. Here we go. And we can bring it up. So here's our terminal, and this, like I said, this is where we're going to live. Now we can go ahead and begin typing in commands. The first command we're going to run is the date command, just to give us a little bit of experience with the command line interface. We're going to run date and type in DATE and press enter, and this gives us a human readable date. We can also type in who, as in what's the name of everyone that is currently logged in, and of course it shows just me. And I can also type who am I, and it shows that, believe it or not, I am Jason. The reason why this is useful is because the prompt right here might not always say my username at my domain, which I stated was Debian. So it can, if in fact it doesn't show my username, if I typed who am I, it would show my username. Finally, we can type in history to show all the commands that I've run so far, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about. So if I type in his and then T and I type in tab, it auto completes it, because right now on this level, in this context, there is no other command that starts with HIST, so it gives a context aware completion. That's the tab button. Now if I typed in H and I typed in tab, I would have to type it twice, and because there's so many different combinations of words that start with H, it gives me as many as there are. And if I type in HI, press tab again, there is only two commands that start with HI. If I type in HIS, press tab, history auto magically comes up. So that's the beauty of tab. Now let's go ahead and type in one of the most basic commands, ls, and type in ls. We can see that it gives us the listing of our current directory. Now, if we said what files, if any, are in downloads, there shouldn't really be any right now. If we typed in ls and then DOWN, press tab for autocomplete, and then press enter, there are no files in downloads. Now, I wanted you to bring up the attention that these are all commands that can be run in our current user mode. If we want to run commands that require root access, such as doing something to the system like making a file, making a directory, or installing applications, then we would need to be a part of the SUDOers group, the sudo group. Now we can type in the following command to see if we are in the sudo group. We can say sudo-l and press enter, and it asks us to type the sudo password for Jason, and it says, sorry, user Jason may not run sudo on Debian. So we need to basically change that. The first thing we need to do is that we need to change our root or change our username to the root user. To do that, we type in su space dash or flag and another space and type in root, and then it will ask us to put in our root password, and we are now at the root. Now we can do sudo, and then here we can use the command user mod. So we are gonna run the program called user mod, and then we're gonna give it the following flags: AG, and then we're going to give it the username, and this is the username. So what I did here, what this command did, it issued, I'm in root, and then I issued myself the sudo command telling the root that me as root is going to do something that requires root access. I'm running the command user mode, in which we're going to modify a particular root user. And what we're doing is that, we're referring to the SUDOers group or sudo group, and we're now including the user Jason in the SUDOers group. So I'm going to go back or revert back to my original login name. So to do that, instead of saying, I'm going to say su and then dash and then Jason to go back to the username Jason. Now I'm going to say sudo dash L, and it's going to ask me for the username. And now it's saying user Jason may run all the following commands on Debian all. Now the only caveat is that, let's say I wanted to do something that requires root privileges. Let's say I wanted to make a directory. I'll say make directory, and then I'll just call it my directory. It's going to give me an error message, or it should have given me an error message stating that essentially I should have used root privileges. Here's another thing that requires root privileges. I'll say apt update, or how about apt update. Okay, so it's saying that permission denied because I was not sudo. So in order for me to make this command work, I would have had to have typed in sudo apt update, and then it would ask me for my password, and then that would have worked. But I don't want to do that right now. There's another way I want to update the system. But that's the first thing, is putting yourself as the root user.